Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live session with Moja 2. Today, I'm so excited because I'm joined by two phenomenal women, and I'm going to talk to them, and we are going to learn more about their stories, about their journey with Moja 2. And I hope that you're going to learn something and enjoy the conversation that we are going to have today. Without further ado, I'll let them introduce themselves and share a little bit about themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chantel Seymour. I am a sponsor for Moja 2, also the mother of Nia Scott, who has started the nonprofit Stimulate the World. I'm excited to be here today to talk about sponsorship, the robotic competitions, the journey of sponsorship, and I will hand it over to Nia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nia Scott, and I am the founder and CEO of Stimulate the World. I would like to say thank you for having me, and I can't wait to talk to you guys.
Yeah. Maybe Chantel, we can start with you. Maybe you can share a little bit about how you were inspired to become a sponsor through Moja 2.
Yeah, absolutely. It was about 9 years ago, almost going on 10 years ago now. A good friend of mine, Christy Dawson, brought up the opportunity on how we could maybe help some young people go to school, eventually possibly go to university. And it started out, sure, I can give that small sum of money, a month. I can afford it. I can help make some kind of difference. And I had also with the current job that I had at the time, they helped with the match with the contribution to a nonprofit or charity. And so it was just an easy thing to do. And I honestly, to be honest with you, I did not know the type of impact I was having. I didn't. I just thought I was helping somebody here that I never would see, but maybe on a video camera here and there. And I can say, wow, was I wrong? I kept doing it because I'm a loyalist. And so I would see Rebecca, the person I was sponsoring, and I would just watch her grow. And I was very impressed with who she was. And I can remember having to get some bags together because Kathy and Moja 2 were all going out and they would be able to see her. And so just remembering how, oh, wow, it started to sort of align for me, like, oh, this is a real person. I'm really impacting somebody else. I guess fast forward 9 years, 10 years later, I get a chance to meet, Rebecca now in university after all this time. And it has been an amazing experience. And I'm so glad for whatever reason. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Not understanding that decision just really had a huge impact on another person's life and just changing the directional path of where this person can now go. So I got a chance to meet Rebecca's parents. Nia and I got a chance to go out to Kenya. And I was able to just see her family and just how proud they are of Rebecca and how appreciative they are of the opportunity that was given. So it's been pretty impactful and life-changing for me.
Yeah. And Nia, what about you? Like, what inspired you to start Stimulate the World? Because you are really inspiring a lot of kids. And also me, myself, I'm very inspired when I see the work that you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. The reason why I started Stimulate the World was because I love robotics and I really love STEM. But there's a little bit something more that I like a little bit more, and that's seeing people smile. I think since I've always been little, I've always loved to see people smile and brighten up. Since I played soccer, I would be helping the little kids every single time they tripped over me. And I would stop the entire match and I would help them up just to see them smile or to make them feel a little bit more hope that they weren't embarrassing themselves on the soccer field. Of course, we were 3 at the time, but I didn't realize that how much I enjoyed helping people that would carry on. And since my love for robotics and STEM has been growing, because I've done robotics since 5th grade competitively. I think I started experimenting in STEM since I was 8 years old. And from there, I've been growing. And now, from 8 years, I've been doing STEM and robotics and engineering and crafting myself and experiencing math, science, and technology and learning more and more. And I truly enjoy learning. And because I really love helping people and I really love STEM and I really love robotics, it was just a no brainer for me. And since I got an opportunity to receive a bunch of robotics kits, I just knew I had to do something. I didn't believe that I could do it such on a big scale because I don't really like doing things on big scales. It's not on who I am as a person, but I do enjoy helping people. So when I was given the opportunity to help and to do something that could change a kid's life, like STEM changed mine, then I had to take it. And that's why I'm here. And I didn't realize how much impact I was doing until I got to see everything happen in person.
Yeah, yeah. And Chantel, how was it when Nia told you she wanted to start Stimulate the World?
Well, Nia knows that I support her in everything she does. And I actually always knew she could do it. For me, when I think about Nia, she is, I know she says she doesn't operate on a big scale, but she really does. Everything she sets out to do, she does it very well. She's very methodical and analytical. And I just knew that with some support, this would be a huge thing. As a mother, you can sort of see down the road, further
Mhm.
than
Yeah.
what the kid can sometimes, or the child can. And when I knew that when those kids would be able to open and expand their mind and get that technology in their hand, it's off and running from there. Because I've seen Nia and her crew, her robotics crew. And what was so interesting to me, and I know we'll get to the robotics competition. I told Nia, the kids on the team reminded me so much of Nia and her robotics team. And when they go for their first round and they go back and they're looking like, well, how could we have fine-tuned that? What does that look like? And trying to just maybe change up the angle or something. It tickled me because I'm like, wow, the the thought of what she did has come to fruition, and it's
Mm,
happening.
mhm. And maybe to mention to our viewers, so Chantel, Nia, and also their family came to Kenya. We had our second robotics tournament at Kapkures in Laikipia. It was such an amazing experience, also for me. This was my second time attending the robotics tournament, but I would say, like, with each tournament that we are doing, I'm seeing more and more progress because for this one, the kids were really smart. We were all very impressed by what they were doing. And it was so amazing because now Nia, who started all of this, was there to witness and train with the students for 5 days before the tournament started. Maybe Nia, you could tell us, like, how was your experience like talking with the kids as they prepared for the tournament?
Yes, the kids were really smart, and I didn't really have to do much. Like, I was really surprised by because I normally would be right over their shoulder and just be watching, and I was helping, but it took was a little, hey, I saw you did this. I know normally this might work a little bit better. How about you guys try this and then move on? Or telling them that, hey, your programming isn't always the issue. Maybe you should look at the mechanical aspect. Like, what is your robot doing? Is something not tight enough? Did you add something that you didn't mean to add? Like, what's going on? And they took my suggestions and they went with it. And some of them took it and did exactly what I offered, and they did it. And the others, they're like, I know what I'm doing. I got it. And I was like, okay, you know what? That's all. It's like, I did the same thing. You take what you want and you reject what you don't and you try again, because that's the entire point of STEM. You don't take everything, you need to try and learn. And the fact that they were taking what I thought as a suggestion and they just rolled through it. Most of the time, I just sat there and, well, not sat, I stood there and I was just watching them interact with each other, figure out, learning how to code, following their code, seeing what went wrong, then going back and then changing everything else. It was truly amazing to see. And the kids were so smart and they were so interactive. And just seeing them all hover around this one laptop coding each individual robot was just, it was so cool to me.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember Nia and also Chantel, you had insisted that we wanted to empower the girls. And the amazing thing was that in each team, there were two girls, two boys. And I remember, Chantel, you were very amazed by that and you wanted to encourage that. Maybe you could share to us why that is very important to you.
Well, I'm sure Nia knows the number way more than I, but it's a small number of women in STEM, girls in STEM. And it's a significant drop, I want to say, by third grade, I think, that they've chosen just another route. So therefore, that turns into low numbers of women who are participating in STEM. Nia here is on a team called Lady Cans. It's an all girls team, and they are amazing. And I've heard some of the stories, and even Nia has experience where she has been on a robotics team and it was male dominated, and they sort of minimized her voice and or just overlooked her suggestions because they dominated the area, so they thought they knew more or what have you. And so I think it's a huge deal for us to encourage girls in STEM and what you can do. We are methodical, we are analytical, we know how to create things and make things work. And I think when you are able to open that up and keep that engagement at another level, I think young girls get to see that they can do more than maybe A, B, or C, right? And so I loved the idea of having the girls mixed up in the teams and not maybe having an all boys team or all girls team, but just having that blend because we all have to work together. The end, that's all part of diversity.
I would like to add on to that is because I believe in this world now, we need to look at people who look like us. There was just a video on TV because the Olympics is going on, and Simone Biles was performing, and this daughter's little girl, she was sitting on the ground, she wasn't even paying attention. And then she saw Simone and she hopped up and she was like, wow, oh my goodness. And she tried mocking her and trying to do a routine with her. Mm-hmm. And that was so inspiring because when you see people who look like you, you feel like you can also do it. And that is so important because in my team, we're an all girls team, but there's not a lot of African Americans. And there's this one girl who just joined our team. I'm one of the people who I am scared sometimes that I know nothing and that I'll make a mistake. So sometimes I pretend like I don't know anything, which is so bad. And I understand that I shouldn't do that. But recently, I've been coming out more in my shell. And because I've been doing that, I've shown that I do know things. And I've climbed up the ladder. And now I'm the CTO of my team. And I was mentoring one girl, and she had just came in to tour our robotics tournament. And she was quiet, and she didn't speak much. And she was Black. And this is important because she stuck around, and she kept coming back. Her sister wasn't that interested, but she wanted to keep coming. And then I met her. Well, I didn't meet her, but I finally had a real conversation with her during a robotics competition during state where we were at. And I was in her room and she was talking to me. And she said that the reason why she decided to join Lady Cans was because she saw a person that looked like me, who knew what I was doing, who had a little bit of experience, who was asking questions, who spoke the most in the room, and who knew what she was doing, but also wasn't afraid to not know. And that was so important because the fact that I was someone that also looked like her, it helped her join our team. And we don't talk about people who look like us, and that's important.
Yeah, I agree. Representation matters big time, right? Yeah.
And maybe you can share what was your favorite moment during the robotics tournament day. What did you enjoy the most?
Which one, her or I?
Both of you.
Let me go first.
Yeah, sure.
There were several moments, but one moment there's a picture I got the picture of it, and the students are hovering around and they're just smiling, watching their robot go, and it's like the genuine smile, and I was able to capture it. And let me just say, it was a female that was leading that team. What about you, Dean?
I really enjoyed seeing. I think competition was really nice, but I really enjoyed seeing the work in progress because that's when the most creation happens. Yeah. And like we all like to see the result, but I think it's more important to look at the journey because the journey is what made it happen. And watching all the kids, like it was really funny, and they're like trying to figure out what to do with the code. And one of the little boys, he was talking to the other little boy, and he was like, you need to do this. And he was like, no, you don't. And he was like, move. And he took the laptop and he started programming. And and then as soon as he did it, he connected it to the robot, he uploaded the code, and he tried it out. And it worked. It worked. Yeah. And that was so funny to me because the fact that he knew and he wasn't afraid to tell you that I know what I'm doing, and I'm sure you do too, but trust me. And he did. Yeah. And it was really nice to see that experience, especially because he was watching so much, because he wasn't programming much. He was on the building side, but he was watching so much to the point that he knew what needed to be done, and he learned from that.
Yeah, the discovery part is really cool. But I also like what one of the computer teachers told us. I don't know if you remember, Nia, where he said that, most of the kids, they want to be what they see, right? And so now when we talk about occupations of what they want to do, now you're having people talk about, oh, I want to be an engineer. Oh, I want to be a software engineer. Oh, I want to program robots, And I just love hearing that because, again, that exposure and that visibility, that's just critical pieces.
Yeah. Also for me, I would say like the favorite moment was also when we were watching them training, like when you could see them trying and not giving up. Yeah. Like that was really inspiring for me. Yeah. And I remember we also visited like different schools. So we went to another school called Raya, and it was very heartwarming when the way they welcomed us. That was such a beautiful moment for me. Maybe you guys, what did you think of that moment?
I still talk about that when we arrived and those children were all singing, and there was one where we had to get out the van and start walking with them as they were singing, and I will never forget that. I often say that I think when life ends, there'll be moments of time, I think, that'll come back to you. And I do know that Kenya experience and meeting those children will be definitely a moment that comes back to me. Nia took I told her that's one of the best shots. Nia took a selfie with the kids all in the background. Mm-hmm. And that's my favorite picture. Like that's going on our Christmas card, you know that. It just, I think that picture to me sort of summarized everything that we're all feeling, in that moment. I just love that picture.
Yeah. And Nia?
I'm not used to, I don't like attention all on me. So it was really weird for me to just take everything in. I just smiled, and I liked watching all the kids and seeing how grateful they were. They said this word when they saw a van pulling up, and the word meant white people, and I was so shocked. And when we came out the bus, I was like, and they saw us. They were happy because they saw people that looked like us. It was a very heartwarming experience, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. Of course, I'm still not used to the attention all on me, and I don't really like the attention all on me, if I'm being honest. But it was really to see. I really enjoyed seeing all the kids because originally I was just going to see my sister because she also went with us, playing volleyball with all the kids. And I was taking some photos because she was not doing so hot, what I would like to say. And And then all the kids saw me taking photos, and I saw this little boy, and he had made his own little truck out of plastic bottles and bottle caps.
Mm.
And I was like, that is so cool. And I pointed to it, and I was like, that is so cool. That was really cool. And all the other kids started gathering around, and then I was just like listening to them talk. And then we got to the point where we had to leave, and I was giving high fives, and everybody started wanting high fives. I was like, man, this is a lot of high fives. I don't think I got this many hands, guys. And I'm like going above and under and trying to hit everyone. And then I was like, you know what? Let's just take a photo for the road, and then it'll be okay. And that's when I took that photo, which is her favorite part, her favorite photo of the trip. But I enjoyed that because I got to, whenever I talk with my friends, I'm like, this is really heartwarming, and the kids are super cute, and they're really smart, and they want to learn. And in America here, it's different. One, because education is free, and it's also required by law. So when you're forced to do something, you don't really want to do it. But the fact that they don't get the opportunity, it opens their mind. And the fact that they actively want to come to school and they actively want to learn, it was so heartwarming. And that photo that she is talking about, I am so sure of it that that's the reason why. It's because it encaptures everything that we learned and that we wanted to see here. And it was beautiful.
Yeah. Maybe Nia, you could share with our viewers maybe the plans you have with Stimulate the World, and maybe how someone can support your organization.
Yes, of course. Okay, so right now my plan for Stimulate the World is we're getting ready to have another robotics competition at Raya, the school that we went to with all the kids. And that game is called Kickbot, and it's a soccer game. Um, and where we will have 20 students paired up, and they'll each get a robot kit, and they'll be able to program. How people can support is what they can do is they can donate on my page, or they can buy Stimulate merch. And right now I'm making a sponsorship plan. So if they want, they can pay a large sum of money to sponsor a team, to buy a kit, to buy a laptop, and to, well, not pick the name, because that's not what I see. I want the kids to have the freedom to do that and to be able to get more live updates about everything that's happening every single week. Or I believe I already said they can buy merch. Or if people don't have the money, that is perfectly fine. But what we need more is people talking about it. We need people posting on Instagram. We need people posting stories. They need people following. We need people liking. They need people sharing to their moms, their cousins, their sisters, their brothers, their grandma. That's what we need, because the more people who see what's going on, the more that people can really understand that we're doing an impact. Right now, we have raised about 200, 500. We've raised about $7,000 in order for 2 competitions to happen. And then plus the extra money that's going towards this 3rd competition. This is really important because, one, robotics kits are super expensive, and I don't think people really understand how pricey they can get. Yes. So a Lego Mindstorms kit, which is a retired Lego kit, can go for $400 to $500 to $600 for a full kit. And that means you don't have to count out each individual piece. Not every pieces work. That's what you're hoping for. For a EV3 kit, those all are also $600. And for NXT kits, those are on the lower price side, and they're like $300, $400. And the fact that I'm saying that's the lower price side, you can tell that they're kind of expensive. Spike robots go for $420 a piece, new, and their expansion set is around $200 a piece. And then I just ended up buying another robotics kit that I'm looking forward to that is around $200. And I'm looking at that and seeing and playing with it to see, is this doable? Like, can the kids still learn, still build, still have that creative controlling process part of it. It's not really a creative process, but it is an intense building process and it is an intense coding process. So right now I'm having to make the decisions and see if this is right. Because if it's not right, then it's going to be returned because then we can use that money for more spike kids.
Yeah.
More plans that we have for Stimulate is that I'm working with Mojo too, but also working with other nonprofits to expanding Stimulate to different parts of the world. I was talking to a friend in Houston, which is right below Austin, is having some issues with their education too. And how a lot of kids and their schools are also underfunded because we're all paid by the government, but our government funding sometimes it doesn't like to cover everything. So they don't have a robotics program, they don't have a STEM program, they don't have a good math program. So we're looking at expanding to parts of the United States, looking at expanding to parts of Latin America, and working with small organizations that also do the same thing and have the same journey that Moja 2 has. Now, obviously, Moja 2 has done an amazing job, and no nonprofit that I have contacted or looked at is at any reach to Moja 2. But the fact that I really want to reach as many kids as possible all over the world because every kid deserves to have the same moment I had whenever I was 8 years old on that floor playing with a little robotics kit, Lego kit, the same kits that they were playing with, I played with when I was 8 years old. And the fact that I got to put together everything and I got to program everything. And I had no experience. I had no idea what I was doing. And there wasn't that many people there to help me. But the fact that my mind lit up whenever I got to make that kit move, whenever I got to make that kit go forward. And it was easy on my mom. It was a free program at Clay Madison, and I could just be there all day. And I was encapsulated. She would come and pick me up. I didn't want to leave. The fact that I get to spread that same feeling, it brings me joy. And I want to expand more. And how people can help is share, donate, or if they want to donate and they want to receive something out of it, they can buy our merchandise. And they can do all of that. And even if the money is tight, I understand that. Just share your website on your page, talk about us to your friends, share a couple posts here and there, or like a couple posts you don't want to share. That's fine. Everything you do, every interaction you do helps.
Yeah, yeah. And Chantel, you are already a sponsor. Maybe you have maybe you would like to share something with someone who would like to support, maybe Stimulate the World or Moja 2. What advice would you give to a new sponsor who's looking into supporting a great cause?
One advice that I would give to a sponsor is that it's real. The people are real. The minimal amount that you're putting out a month, it goes amazingly far. And it's having not only impact, I think, on that person, but even on their community. And I think that's important to truly understand. And I don't think I totally got that connection until I saw it firsthand, to be honest with you. I would say to them, just do it. If you're on the fence about sponsoring, just do it. I mean, it's meaningful. It's unreal what a little help can do and support can go. And as far as Stimulate the World, please, yeah, absolutely donate and support. One of the things about the kits that I don't think Nia touched on, we can reuse the kits over and over again. So once the kits get to the school, I mean, you have children following behind them, being able to utilize those same kits. So it's not like something that's a turnover process where you have to keep buying and buying. You could really set up a true system in getting that STEM into that school. Yes. So yeah, I think that's a really great cause for that.
Yeah, yeah. I hope you have all learned something, and please go and support Stimulate the World because the work they are doing is really amazing, and it's empowering a lot of kids here in Kenya who wouldn't have that opportunity. And through that, we're also able to take two teams that won. So we did the first robotics tournament, and this one was our second. And they are already in the World Robotic Olympiad that is happening here in Kenya. and we can't wait to see how they do and share with you guys. And thank you so much, Nia and Chantel. It was so nice talking to you. And we hope to see you again in Kenya next year, and so that we can have a session again and talk about how was the experience, what did you love. I appreciate so much for having you guys. Maybe do you have something to say to our viewers as we end the conversation?
I have nothing. Just I hope everyone has an amazing day, and eats some amazing food.
Go out and stimulate the world. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. Yeah, thank you guys, and we hope to see you on the next session.
Thank
Thank you.
you.